Tom Cotton admits the U.S. doesn't actually care about spreading democracy. Notes from the edge of the narrative matrix. Warmongering Senator Tom Cotton made an interesting comment during the confirmation hearings for Tulsi Gabbard the other day, which acknowledged the mostly unspoken truth that the U.S. government cares less about whether the nations it partners with are free and democratic than how well they serve U.S. interests. In a fallen world, we have to take our friends where we find them, Cotton said. No question, stable democracies make the most stable friends. But what matters in the end is less whether a country is democratic or non-democratic, and more whether the country is pro-American or anti-American. I'll confess that those views may be somewhat unconventional, but look at where conventional thinking has got us. Far from being unconventional, the senator from Arkansas is simply stating out loud the standard foreign policy orthodoxy which all Beltway swamp monsters share, but tend to keep between themselves. It's not very often you hear a U.S. empire manager come right out and admit that they only care about planetary hegemony, and that their whole shtick about spreading freedom and democracy is a sham. They'll pick a U.S. crony dictator over a sovereign democratically elected leader 10 times out of 10. Just something to keep in mind the next time U.S. warmongers start clamoring for more regime change interventionism in a strategically valuable country in order to liberate its people from tyranny. Trump has continued to push for Jordan and Egypt to take in Palestinians in facilitation of the ethnic cleansing of Gaza, and is adamant that both nations will eventually accede to his demands. The president told the press on Thursday that despite Jordan and Egypt's rejection of Trump's plans, they will do it. They will do it. They're going to do it, okay? We do a lot for them, and they're going to do it. The Trump administration faces many obstacles in trying to force this agenda through, but they do appear committed to the idea that they're going to be able to see this crime carried out to completion. Biden destroying Gaza and then Trump working to ethnically cleanse it is such a classic case of the jab-cross combo that Democrats and Republicans employ to advance the agendas of the empire. They don't just do evil things, they set up the other party to inflict new evils. We're also getting reports that Trump plans to withdraw U.S. troops from Syria. I actually believe this will probably happen this time, unlike Trump's empty talk during his previous term, because the job is done now. The illegal U.S. military occupation succeeded in depriving Syria of its oil and wheat, keeping it impoverished and weakened so that its government could be overthrown. They did that. Now they can leave. Israel's supporters have been expressing elation online about the Trump administration's rushing D9 bulldozers to Israel, whose shipments were reportedly delayed by the Biden administration. It says so much that bulldozers play such a prominent role in the Israeli military. Ever notice that? You hear about IDF bulldozers in Gaza as often you hear about tanks and drones. Other militaries employ bulldozers for various purposes, but it's not a major feature of their war machinery, and you generally barely even think about it. For the IDF, it's one of their main weapons, because their primary military objective is demolishing an undesirable civilization. Democrats seriously seem to believe everyone's just going to forget that they spent 15 months ignoring, making excuses for, and outright supporting a genocide. They think all the outrage over Trump is going to magically erase what they did from people's minds over 4 years. From what I'm seeing, I really don't believe that's going to happen. I think permanent damage has been done, especially in the eyes of young people. I think people will focus on Trump because he's the president now and his abuses need to be criticized, but I don't think they'll ever forget the way Democrats exposed their true face through 15 months of mass atrocities. I doubt very much that many of those who sincerely dedicated themselves to opposing the mass slaughter in Gaza will ever again go back to viewing the Democratic Party as the lesser evil, or seeing it as in any way separate from the enemy power structure they now know they must destroy. There's an unearned pompousness to the way Democrats are herding people into opposition to Trump, attacking those who they feel failed to support Kamala with adequate enthusiasm, mocking the Muslims and immigrants who stayed home or voted for Jill Stein over the abuses they'll face under the Trump administration. They're just like, yeah, Gaza, whatever. Time to fixate on Trump now, everybody. And I just don't think anyone's buying it. I think eyes have been opened that will never close again. People were taught a lesson that cannot be unlearned. They're going to be unpacking the political consequences of the Biden administration for many years to come.